Hi, this is John and welcome back to Mr. America Heart. Today I want to speak to you about men over 50 and the need, I believe, the need for them to squat, to do squats, to do free weight barbell squats. This is my typical form on rebound squats. I usually use anywhere from 315 to 350 pounds for some decent reps. Although as I'm getting older, I generally like to do pause squats, pausing at the bottom for a count of 1001. I'm not talking about machines here, and I'm not talking about leg presses here. I'm not talking about squats versus any of those things, okay? I am talking about what I believe is the need to continue to get older, barbell squats where you load it behind the neck. And you'll see in some of the videos how I squat, and you'll see how basically there's no, when you squat down, pitching forward and doing what I call grinders, where you come up with your butt up in the air and you're bending over too much. So when I'm talking about squats here, I'm talking about nice, clean squats. I don't see any reason why men, as they approach the age of 50, seem to drop squats entirely from their workout routines. It seems to be more out of fear than anything else. Even if you guys did them lighter. This is a fun variation of the squat that I can do with a lighter weight than usual. I call them 1.5 squats, and they work the lower body muscles, those glutes, hams, adductors, and quads extra hard. Even if you chose to do them with more moderate weight. I didn't say heavy squats. Notice, I'm not talking about bone-crushing squats. I'm not talking about squats that are going to damage your spine squats. I'm talking about squats that you are using near perfect form and you're going down at a deep depth that your structure can handle. You're going to have to play with the variables. Okay, there's a few variables I'm going to talk about right now. One of them is your femur length, your leg length between your hip and your knee. If you have extra long femur between that hip and that knee, you're going to find that it's a little bit more difficult to do closed stance squats. You're going to have to move those feet out and then possibly even elevate that heel or wear a shoe that has a little bit of a heel to it. Now, I don't advocate that mostly because most people can find that width that they can squat comfortably at to where they're not pitching forward too much, okay? But those long femurs, people with those type of legs, unfortunately, the hinge, you have to actually hinge further back and get that butt to drop back further in order to squat down deep. You're gonna have to put the feet wider at that point. Everyone else, on the other hand, you can actually pull a decent squat. Every once in a while, I may bump the weight up to over 350, maybe 400 pounds. I know I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but for me, that's a decent weight to knock out a nice set of reps. Talking about with decent feet spacing. Hip width, slightly wider, shoulder width seems to work just fine. But I make the case that if you don't do those squats, and I've been doing this for 35 years as a trainer and training myself, if you don't squat, it's a use it or lose it situation. I just came from a show this past weekend where I saw all these masters competitors, these bodybuilders up on stage, and I'll tell you what, the majority of them, I saw one masters competitor who actually had glute muscles, and I thought, wow, I gotta talk to this man. He's actually squatting. He's actually doing really good squats to be engaging those glute muscles. And you know what? I was way off. He wasn't over 50. He was actually 41, and he was still squatting. But every one of the bodybuilders that was over 50, they were not squatting anymore. They were choosing to use machines, leg presses, all other forms of leg work, but not regular barbell squats. And I find the main reason is fear. So, if you don't have any injuries, I believe you should still continue to squat. No injuries to your back, no injuries to your neck, no injuries to your hip or knee. Squat and do them to a nice depth and use moderate weights. This will keep that hip functioning properly, those knees, the hip flexors, and it'll develop the chain of the backside of your body, the glutes, the hamstrings, in coordination with those quads, as well as keeping your GPS, that's your global positioning system. It's keeping your balance and handling weights, in a pretty decent shape. Okay, once you give that up, it's gone, baby. So, and lastly, I have to tell you, flexibility. I know, sounds silly. Most people don't stretch much over 50, but grabbing that bar on the back of your neck, externally rotating your arm. I see more men that are over 50, they can't reach the bar back there any longer because, again, it's use it or lose it. So grabbing onto that bar and holding it on the back of your neck, well, actually on your traps, will keep that flexibility in those shoulders. So I like to see that in men over 50 as well. So that's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button below before you leave.